Sean Zaghi is suing his friend's neighbor, Michelle Borowski, for breaking his windshield with a rock. Michelle claims Sean tried to run her over.
All rise.
Please, sir. It is your allegation that you went to pick up a friend.
Yes, sir.
Who was
yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
At a party or someone's house.
And his wife, Rachel Browning, are suing their former landlords, Michael Moreland and Janae Cooper, for the return of their deposit and for making false charges to police.
Quiet in the courtroom. All rise. Now it's case number 392 on the calendar in the matter of McLaughlin Browning versus Moreland Cooper.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Okay. According to the complaint, you rented a house from the defendants. You gave them a deposit in order to move in. You moved in. You said the house was in deplorable condition. You want your deposit back. You want hotel stay and punitive damages for filing false charges against you with Child Protective Services. The defendants say that you owe them for rent and something that you stole when you left, right?
Yes.
That's what the case is about. Mm-hmm. Okay. You have children together?
No.
You have children who lived in the house?
Yes.
How many?
Two, my daughter Michaela, who's 5 now, and her son Austin, who's 6.
And how long have the two of you been together?
We've been together a year.
Okay. Where were you living before you rented the house from the defendants?
Back in January, I bought a house with my ex-wife, and she filed for divorce about 2 or 3 days after we actually signed for the house. So I had to move out by March 1st so I could get into a house with Rachel, because I knew Rachel from high school, so...
I mean, are you a couple, or are you just sharing a house?
We're a couple.
Okay.
We actually got married January 4th of this year.
Okay, so you had to get out fast of your living situation. Did you answer an ad for the defendant's house?
No, we actually were driving around trying to find something. We know I don't have great credit.
Listen, you drove around. Was there a for rent sign?
Yeah, there was a for rent sign.
And you called?
I called the number and I talked to Janae.
In what month?
Middle of March. We called about the first 2 weeks of March. And she told me that they had a house for rent, that they had to fix it up a little bit, and that we could look at it the next day. We met them the next day. I looked at it.
And?
It was pretty bad. They had like 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 couches in the living room with a bunch of tables, and it was just everywhere. There's stuff everywhere, every room. And he said he'd have it done by the 1st of April. And then he told us the deposit was $1,850, which was the first month's rent, which is $950 plus $900. And he'll have everything done by the 1st. And I told him that I have a 401k check coming in, my thing from work, and it was $1,300. And then I was going to borrow the money from my grandparents and my mom.
Listen, that's a little too much information for me. You saw the house. It was in deplorable condition. You said you wanted the house as of when?
As of April 1st.
Did you sign a lease?
We just signed a lease. And,
I'd like to see it.
This is the original copy of it.
Signed a lease that provided that you were going to move in on April the 3rd for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you move in on April the 3rd?
No, he kept saying he had no electricity, he had no water in the house, so we turned on the electricity at the end of March so he could get the paint done in my name. And he had no water in the house, and he owed $300 or $400 for the water. So he had to pay that off so he could get the water running, and then he'd never had anybody come up there to fix it.
Listen to me. When did you move in?
May 3rd.
You moved in a month late.
A month late. My parents came up from New York, and
I don't care if your parents came up from New York, sir. I have some specific questions. May 3rd you moved in, right?
Yes.
And you gave them the money when?
April 10th. Because I gave him $900 before April 3rd, and then we gave him the rest of the money when my parents came up. And I got pictures of the house, the way it looked before he actually fixed it.
I don't care what it looked like before he fixed it. That's irrelevant to me. And when did you move out of the house?
The first week of September. Because he had our deposit, and I was going through divorce, and I had a lot of bills I had to pay.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to give him first and last.
I got him deposit and first month's rent.
So the deposit was for any damage that might be done and first month's rent.
Yes.
So you owed him rent in June.
Yes.
Did you pay him?
No.
Why not?
He never came to fix our house. My daughter's room had no carpet.
Just a second. Was there carpet before you moved in?
No, not my daughter's room.
Is there anything in the lease that provides that he has to provide for carpet?
It has to be livable.
No. Not everybody likes carpet, sir. Is there anything in this lease that provides that he has to provide carpet?
I'm pretty sure it does say something. And
Show me. I don't want to have to read the whole thing. Take a look. Show me where it says that your daughter's room has to be carpeted.
It says something about the conditions of the premises, including all grounds and buildings and improvements, unless they...
Listen to me. The word carpet.
I don't see carpet in here.
So the lease does not provide for carpet.
No.
Okay, so you didn't pay him for June. Your daughter's room had no carpet.
And her son's room had really old carpet. He said he was going to change in there. It was like shag carpet, and the whole house was completely destroyed.
Listen to me. You moved into it.
Yes.
If it wasn't ready, don't move in. So you moved in, and you didn't pay June's rent.
Yes.
Did you pay July's rent?
No. We had no...
Okay. Don't go there, sir.
Sorry.
I don't want to hear, you're fetching and complaining. You moved your family in, and as soon as you moved in, you stopped paying rent. Because that's what happened. I mean, that's the objective data.
Yeah.
You moved in, and you stopped paying rent. No June, no July, no August.
Yes.
And what were you doing with the rent money?
I was putting it toward my bills that I had from my divorce. I had a car that was 2 months behind, and like that. And we had a problem with her insurance and stuff at work, but the house is not livable. My dad...
Listen to me. If the house isn't livable, you move out. If it's not livable, you don't move in. And if it's not livable, you move out. You don't scam the landlord by moving in and saying, now I'm here. Now you can't get me out.
Wait, I had nowhere to live.
That's not his problem. Is he related to you by blood?
No.
Who cares if you have nowhere to live? Go live with a relative. Go live with your mother. Go live with your father. Go live with your sister. Go live with your brother. But don't move into a stranger's house and say, no, I'm not going to pay rent because I got bills from my divorce.
I mean, we gave him $1,800 for the month. He never came and fixed it.
Just a second.
Okay.
I gave you credit for May's rent. Because he wouldn't have let you move in unless you gave him the 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? So you gave him the 2 months and then you stopped paying him. Outrageous. I mean, you're a squatter. And it's an old scam. You got yourself in, you move yourself in, you say, listen, it's going to take the courts 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get me out. By that time, they're just going to be so happy to get rid of me that they'll just say, go, forget it. And then you move on to some other unsuspecting landlord. Outrageous. You get me?
I get you.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And you responded because you got a call about what?
We had a complaint on some photographs containing images of the adults with their children in pornographic poses.
And later today,
what would be his last living act if you found him doing a wee-wee dance on the hood of your car?
Oh, well, he'd be beat to a post.
That's why you didn't dance on his car.
David McLaughlin and Rachel Browning say former landlords Michael Moreland and Janae Cooper owe for the return of a deposit and for false charges made to police. The defendants are countersuing for rent.
If you don't like an apartment, if you don't like a house, you don't move in. Does that sound right to you? You're the police officer, is that right?
Sounds right, Judge.
Right? Nobody's twisting your arm. You don't like the shag carpet? Don't move in. Doesn't mean that much to you. You move in. You want carpet in your daughter's room? Go to Home Depot. Now, the second part of your complaint is that they called Child Protective Services on you.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, we never called Child Protective Services.
Just a second.
They called the police.
Can I ask quite the question, please? Did they call Child Protective Services?
The police did. Once the police came out.
So they called the police?
Yes.
Mr. Moreland?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you call the police?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me why. What month did you call the police?
August or June, somewhere around there.
Well, August and June are 2 different months. Officer,
I'm not sure, Your
Officer,
Honor.
could you stand up, please?
Yes, Judge.
Could you move over there? I know you're not a plaintiff's witness.
Certainly.
But you responded to the location where Mr. McLaughlin and Miss Browning were living.
Yes, I did.
You remember when that was, sir?
It was on June 25th.
And you responded because you got a call about what, sir?
We had a complaint on some photographs containing images of the adults with their children in pornographic poses.
And when you responded to the location, did you find anything?
No, ma'am, we did not. Not anything that related to the complaint.
Okay. Can you describe what you saw when you got to the premises?
When I arrived at the premises, I went inside the residence. The residence was in a messy state. There were boxes every place. It appeared as if somebody was moving out. Some trash, not anything that would be deplorable to live in, but it just appeared to be unorganized and a lot of boxes and packing going on.
But you found nothing untoward?
No.
Were you responsible for calling Child Protective Services?
No, ma'am.
Do you know who did?
More than likely, any reports that we take involving children in a case such as this gets forwarded to CPS automatically.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me, sir?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. You can have a seat. Okay. What made either one of you believe that there were photographs in there involving children?
There was, Your Honor. I haven't heard from McLaughlin for several months, and he didn't pay me for about 5 months, and he changed the locks on the premises, which on the lease it states here that if you don't pay rent or if you change the locks, I have the right to enter the premises.
Okay.
So I enter the home, and I see in the living room there's mattresses laying on the floor, 5 to 7 digital cameras laying around.
Did you,
Pictures.
Sir, officer, one more thing. When you went into the premises, did you see any mattresses on the floor?
Ma'am, I don't recall if there are any mattresses on the floor. I do remember the complaint of the video cameras. Mr. Moreland believed that there was some type of filming possibly going on involving the children in their rooms. When I responded, I checked on that complaint. I looked at the cameras that were there. There was nothing that
What kind
appeared
of
to be...
cameras, sir? Still cameras, movie cameras?
There are several different kinds. Still cameras, some video recorders, camcorders, but nothing...
How many would you say?
Approximately 5 to 7, but they were in broken states. They didn't work. They were not set up on stands. I didn't see any evidence of any type of recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you take pictures of what you saw?
Yes, Your Honor, right next to the child's bed. Entered the property to dispose of what I seen.
Don't tell me, that's supposition.
No, it's not carpet. If I like to add some...
These were taken the day that you called the police? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. Officer, would you step up, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Would this be a fair and accurate representation of the condition of the house when you saw it?
Yes, that does appear to be taken in June.
Thank you. Mr. Moreland was perfectly right to pick up the phone and call the police and have them come to at least look into what was going on in that house. You moved in, according to you, on May the 3rd. This house looks like a disaster area, an absolute disaster area. And I'm not even addressing the pornographic material that's there, which, by the way, you acknowledge that you had in the house, but you say it was, in fact, put away so that the children couldn't reach it. Well, somebody reached it. It may have even been Mr. Moreland, but somebody reached it. I'm not even addressing the pornographic stuff that involved what appeared to be young children, which is weird. I'm talking about the condition of the house. The condition of the house would lead a normal person to believe that something wasn't right there. So he had an absolute right to call the police, and the police had an absolute responsibility to call Child Protective Services. So your complaint is dismissed. Now let's get to your counterclaim. You're suing for the rent for the time that they lived there. Rent was how much a month?
$9.50.
When did they move out?
They actually moved out in October. They did not move out in June.
June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. $4,750. Listen, they're scammers.
I know you're...
Period. Squatters and scammers. And based upon the photographs that I saw, not very responsible parents either. Now, you don't mind my not going into this grill that they allegedly took? I don't care about a grill. They owe you for rent. And how much did it cost you, Mr. Moreland and Miss Cooper, to get them out? Or did they just move?
They eventually just moved, but trying to fix up the house after they left, we had to end up filing a bankruptcy because of the mortgage and everything else wasn't paid. And that cost us $4,200 just to file that.
So you see, when you have a problem with your ex-wife and bills that built up during the divorce, and you go to scam somebody else, what happens is they get hurt. It's a trickle-down effect because they didn't have money to pay the mortgage because you didn't pay the rent and you refused to move out of the house. Perfect strangers had trouble. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, both of you. And I certainly think Child Protective Services should give another look to where you're living now. Where are you living now?
Decatur Township.
You know where that is, sir?
I do, ma'am.
Good. Judgment for the defendant on the counterclaim in the amount of $4,700. Claim is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused and they step out.
I was so fed up with them,
Just broke in our house, went through everything.
and it made me sick to my stomach that someone like that lived in my neighborhood.
He's just trying to get us kicked out as soon as he can so he can scam someone else, so.
I really hope CPS looks into it further.
If he don't stop, I would love to smack his...
Thanks a lot, Judge Judy, for listening to us and really seeing what happened.
23-year-old Kenneth Kip Pinette is suing his former friend, Stacy Schwartz, for taking his car without permission and damaging the transmission, the clutch, and one of the tires.
Now, this is case number 456 on the calendar in the matter of Pinette versus Swartz.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Pinette, you were at a party with the defendant. I assume she was a friend of yours, and it is your claim that she took your car without permission and wrecked it.
She didn't wreck it. She hit a curb and blew out a tire, and the transmission went out.
And Ms. Swartz says that she had an unfortunate accident and that she might clearly be responsible for replacing a tire, but certainly not the transmission, since she had your permission and this accident was clearly not her fault.
Well, she did not have my permission.
Good. So let's go back. When was this party that you had?
A couple of months ago. It was a Friday night. It was at my house, and
Listen, Mr. Pinette, how old are you, sir?
23.
What do you do for a living?
I am a market analyst.
Ever been to court before, sir?
No, except for traffic tickets and...
Well, that's court. So, if you're a plaintiff and you have a claim, first thing you figure out is what date.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because the questions get harder after that, Mr. Pinette. So, a couple of months ago on a Friday night isn't a date.
I believe the date was December 14th, Your Honor.
That's a date. Now, it was on December 14th, 2006. Where were you?
At my house.
Who else was there?
I don't know the exact names, but a bunch of my friends.
And what were you all doing?
Drinking, watching TV, listening to music.
Great. Having a good time. Being responsible.
Yes.
What happened next?
Well, I didn't keep track of everybody around that night. I went to bed maybe around 1 or 2, and the next morning, Stacy called me and said that my car was broken down. I said, you know, how could that be? It should be in front of my house. And she said she was in Sunrise, which is about 20 miles away.
Where do you live?
Downtown Sacramento.
Go ahead.
She said it was broken down. She explained to me that she had taken my car the night before and that it had broken down the night before and that she had spent the night and was calling me in the morning. And I was...
Spent the night where?
At one of her friend's house, I assume.
Okay.
And I explained to her that she had better get my car back to me.
What kind of car do you have?
It's a Nissan Sentra.
Year?
1997. And she said she would. We exchanged words. I was a little upset, and then I fell back asleep. I didn't get my car back until the next day. She had it towed back to my house. At first, she hadn't even told me that a tire had blown out. I did see that for myself when it came to my house. Then she explained that to me. I had not given her permission to drive the car, so I was very upset. Okay.
Don't repeat anything.
Okay.
I have other things to do. Are you finished?
She had told me that she would pay for all damages. She was very apologetic at first, and I felt, you know, like I would forgive her. I had it diagnosed, and she refused to pay it. She says she's not responsible for that.
You had it diagnosed, what was the bill?
It was $1,500, not $1,593 and 83 cents. I'd originally said $1,600. It's I'd rounded when I looked at the receipt. It's actually $6.17 less than that.
Mr. Pinette, how did you pay for this?
My father loaned me the money to pay for it, actually.
Did you pay for it in check or cash, sir?
I believe my father used his credit card to pay for it, and I had to pay my father back.
What's your father's name?
John Pinette.
His phone number?
It's in my cell phone, I'm sorry.
Fred, would you please get his cell phone so that we can get the father's number, please? Thank you. And he's going to verify that he paid this bill, sir?
Yes,
when I
he
call
would.
him on the phone? Good. We're going to do that.
Okay.
In a minute.
Okay.
Now, I'll hear you, Miss Swartz.
On December 14th, I was hanging out at Kip's house, and I asked him if I could borrow his car to go over to Jessica's house.
Where does Jessica live?
A few blocks from his house.
And he said?
He said yes. He let me borrow it.
Good. So you understand, Miss Swartz,
That's a different place than she went. Excuse me, Your Honor.
You do understand, madam, that you did have limited authority to take his car to go to Jessica's house, which is a few blocks away. You understand that?
Yes. Yeah.
Now tell me what happened.
I drove over to Jessica's house and told her that I was using Kip's car, and she called me at 5 o'clock in the morning and woke me up.
At Jessica's house?
Yes. And told me she was drunk and stranded in Sunrise, so I didn't even think to call Kip and ask permission because he let me borrow his car. He knew I wasn't...
No, my dear.
He knew I wasn't going to bring it back until the morning, so I...
Darling!
Yes.
You get it now? You look as if you're smart enough to get where I'm going.
Yes, ma'am.
You went to pick up your friend in Sunrise. And how far is Sunrise from Jessica's house?
Approximately 20 miles.
20
Miles.
miles, not blocks, miles. And it was coming back with her, this drunken friend of yours, that you had the accident.
Yes.
Now tell me about the accident.
I was just driving and I was coasting, so I was in neutral. And then I tried to put it into gear and it would not go into gear. And I went to park immediately and I hit the curb and popped the tire. That was probably about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
You must have hit the curb very hard.
Well, yes, it was hard enough to pop the tire. And I immediately changed the tire. And since it was about 5:30 in the morning, my friend that I picked up just walked to her house because we were about a block away. And I slept in the car and called Kip about 9 o'clock in the morning to tell him that I was going to get his car towed back to him.
Let us assume that I believe you, that Mr. Panett said that you could borrow his car to go to Jessica's house, which is a few blocks away, to
Yes.
stay over. When you exceeded his permission by going 20 miles away the next day, you no longer had his permission. Do you understand that?
But he knew I was going to have it till the morning.
Don't tell me what he knew. He gave you permission, according to you, to drive it a few blocks. A few blocks is not 20 miles.
I have my witness here that saw him give me permission.
I just said, don't you have your listening ears on? I said, if I believe you, he gave you permission to take it a few blocks away. Once you took it 20 miles away, you no longer had permission.
Your Honor, he lets me borrow the car all the time.
That's not true.
Just a second. Where do you think you are?
Right here,
Where is here?
in this witness chair.
And until you stand up there, what are you supposed to do?
Listen to you.
Right. Once you exceeded the scope of the permission, you no longer had permission. That's the law. Do you understand it?
Yes.
So all I have to do is deal with the issue of damages. And for that, you're going to give me John's cell phone.
Yes, ma'am. Just let me power it up.
Power it up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What a nice father you have, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you know what he doesn't remember?
What?
He doesn't remember you paying him back.
And later today,
What were you doing for the last 3 years?
I was selling cars.
Why did you decide to go back to school?
I made a life-changing mistake of driving under the influence and lost my license.
That was life-changing.
Very much.
Kenneth Kip Panett claims former friend Stacy Schwartz took his car without permission and damaged it. Kenneth says Stacy not only ruined the transmission and clutch, but she also popped one of his tires.
John Panett, this is Judge Judy Sheindlin. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. Do you have a moment for just a couple of quick questions for me? I'm here, as you know, trying a case involving your son and this young woman who took his car without permission. Are you familiar with that? Okay. Did he ever ask you for any money to help him repair this car? When was that? 3 months ago. Do you remember how much it cost you, sir? Approximately. And did you use your credit card? Did he pay you back that money? I know, I have children. Did he tell you how it happened? That he needed a new transmission? Was he driving the car? Okay. Very good. And you used a credit card? Okay, great. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you taking the time. Bye-bye now. What a nice father you have, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And as a matter of fact, your father does remember helping you out and paying for this transmission a few months ago.
That's correct.
Do you know what he doesn't remember?
What?
He doesn't remember you paying him back.
Well, I owe him money pretty much all the time, and I am always paying him. So I'm in the process
that he
of
doesn't
paying
remember. I mean, he does remember laying this money out for you, but he doesn't remember the fact that you paid him.
I have not fully paid him back, Your Honor. I apologize.
Well, how much have you paid him, sir?
Well, I owe him a total of quite a bit more than that. So I guess if you got down to that bill, I haven't paid him any because I'm paying him for things that I owe him.
Well, you have no objection to making the check payable to your father, do you?
No, not at all.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,593.83 to be made payable to John Panett. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
It may take time, but we probably will be friends again.
Well, now that it's all been paid for, I would probably hang out with her again.
Becky Madur is suing her former friend, Becky Seifert, for the return of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle and for ruining her credit.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 454 on the calendar in the matter of Madura versus Seifert. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Madura, the defendant was a friend of yours.
Yes.
Who had terrible credit. And it is your claim that you were trying to be nice to her, and she asked if she could have a credit card, if you would take it out, make her co-holder of one of the cards. You did that for her, and the understanding was the bills would go to her and she would take care of the bills. And it is your claim that subsequent to that, she wanted to buy a motorcycle. And again, you agreed to be a friend, and you co-signed the loan for the motorcycle with the understanding that she would make the payments promptly, which she failed to do. You subsequently found out that not only had she taken out the one credit card, but because she had all of your information, she took out a series of credit cards and built up a balance of thousands of dollars. She was also behind on the payments. She was behind on the payments on the bike as well. As a result of that, your credit, which had been pristine, took a dive. So you're suing for two things. You're suing for the return of the motorcycle to you, or its value, so that you can sell it and get out from under the payments. And second, you want damages for her ruining your credit. Ms. Seifert says that she kept her end of the bargain. She has paid on the motorcycle, although she acknowledges she doesn't pay in a prompt manner. She pays when they threaten her. That's not what she says, but I gather that's the case, that when they threaten to either sue her or repossess the motorcycle, she makes a payment. That still doesn't positively impact on your credit. And she says that she kept her end of the bargain by making the payments on the credit card. She also says that you opened up all these credit cards for her, not just the one that you say, but all of the others. When did you open up this credit card with her as a co-card holder?
Probably around June of '05, and there was only one card, and if there was all these credit cards...
No, just don't, you don't have to answer for her.
Okay.
You opened up one
June
credit...
of '05.
And with what financial institution?
MBNA, MasterCard, and both our names are on it.
And as far as you know, that is the only card that you authorized her to get?
Yes.
With your information?
Yes.
How many cards did she get using your information?
4 or 5, counting the second MBNA she took out, that she succeeded. I have documentation.
I'd like to see it, please.
Your Honor, there was only one MBNA card. There wasn't two.
I have...
How many...
There was two Chase. There was one MBNA.
No.
Ms. Seifert, how many cards did the plaintiff agree to take out in your name?
Ma'am, I went to with her information because...
Listen.
We never determined a number. The cards that I had, that I used, several of them were mailed to her home, to her address. I didn't go to her house and steal those cards.
Ms. Seifert, you don't honestly expect, coming here today, that you're going to get over on me,
No,
right?
I don't. I'm just telling you.
So then let me ask the questions and don't skirt around the answers, because I'll take you and I shake you, and then I get the answer.
Okay.
You came to the plaintiff and asked her if she could take out a credit card and put you as a co-holder on a credit card so that you would have a credit card to start to build up your credit. That's what you asked her, I assume. Is that right?
She offered.
Well, how would she know that you needed it, madam, unless she knew that you didn't have a credit card?
Because we were going on vacation together, and we were talking about finances for vacation and the things our kids could and couldn't do.
And?
And I explained to her that I did not have a credit card with much credit on it.
That's okay, good. So she agreed to get one credit card. Now, after she got the one credit card in June of 2005, when did you apply for the other credit cards?
I did it all at the same time on when I got the one credit card.
Just a second. I told you, don't play with me.
I'm
smarter than you are. You just said to me, I got the other credit cards on after I got the one credit card.
That's not what I said.
That's exactly what you just said. I have a tape.
the one time on and several cards were mailed to her house, and she knows that.
Don't tell me what she knows. Why did you take advantage of a situation where she said she would get you a credit
It was very bad
card?
judgment on my part.
Now, when you got these credit cards, did you use them to make purchases?
Yes, I did.
Did you pay all the credit cards on time?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Then you ruined her credit.
Then I signed to be responsible for all of them. All the papers she asked me to, and it was taken off of her credit.
Listen to me. You show me where, once you signed a piece of paper to be responsible, because so far you're irresponsible, it impacted positively on her credit. Show me.
I don't know where it acted positively, but she was even told it was taken off her credit after the affidavits were signed, and I also have 2 receipts for $6,500 we've paid her.
Just a sec. For?
Towards the credit cards.
Well, you didn't pay it to her, you paid it to the credit card for things that you bought.
No, we gave it directly to her to take care of it.
Doesn't make any difference, madam. Don't you get it? Once you become a deadbeat in the credit card world, you don't automatically become not a deadbeat just because you pay the credit card. You remain a deadbeat.
But they said that because they called it fraudulent, it would come off of her report.
So you acknowledge that you fraudulently
No,
applied?
she made me sign those papers because if I didn't, because I'm on probation, she was going to call my probation officer, which she threatens to do all the time.
Sounds like a great idea to me. Now, let's get to the motorcycle. She also co-signed a loan for you for a motorcycle. Is there any reason why you did that, madam?
I was trying to be good-hearted, which I will never do again.
You have children?
Yes, I'll never even co-sign for my children. I've learned a lesson the worst way.
Okay. Now, do you pay for the motorcycle on time?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Which means that you have destroyed her credit.
Yes, ma'am, I probably have with the motorcycle.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your motorcycles?
I have 2 motorcycles, yes.
Well, why don't you sell one?
Because I like them.
Yeah, but you live in a home with this lady, and she's got a problem. So why don't you help her fix it?
And later today,
Was he more exciting when you were together?
He has a problem with confrontation, Your Honor.
Ah, and I love confrontation.
Durr claims former friend Becky Seifert ruined her credit by not paying on credit cards she helped her get.
Good. Now I'd like to see what papers you have.
They asked me to bring, I brought a picture of the motorcycle. She wants the motorcycle back, but the title is solely in my name. So if she wants the bike back, she's going to have to get my name off the title because I'm liable for anybody that she lets ride that bike, and she's not capable of riding it herself.
Just a second.
And then I have
When
a statement now
did you-
that shows that all my payments are current.
You make your payments late.
Well, I mean, it shows that I'm current right now.
I don't care whether you're current right now. You make your payments late. Can I see the title to the motorcycle, please? When did you co-sign on the motorcycle?
October 05.
How much have you paid on the motorcycle?
I've made all the payments except the one she made, and I
How
paid her
much
back
do
for
you
them.
pay?
$250 a month, ma'am.
How much is the loan?
She owes, right now, there's still almost $12,000 owed. Right here it is. $11,818.42 owed.
Who are you?
Becky's boyfriend.
Stand up. What do you do for a living?
Run a rubber mill.
You earn a living?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, why don't you refinance this motorcycle?
I already have one in my name.
So what?
I don't know, ma'am.
What?
This was between them.
Well, I understand that, but you live with her. You sleep with her.
Yes.
So why should she be on the hook for her bad credit?
She was having trouble with her credit way before us.
I'm asking you a question. I just said to you, she sleeps with you, you live with her. Why don't you, the two of you, refinance this motorcycle and get it out of her name?
I've got too much in my name right now with my house, my cars, and my motorcycles, so...
Your motorcycles?
I have 2 motorcycles, yes.
Well, why don't you sell one?
Because I like them.
Yeah, but you have a problem. You live in a home with this lady, and she's got a problem. So why don't you help her fix it?
Well, I did. I took out a 401k loan and paid off the credit cards that she had with her to help her out. I mean...
What does she do?
Huh?
What do you mean, huh? What does she do?
What does she do?
Yeah, what does she do?
As far as?
As far as a livelihood.
She works in a doctor's office.
She make a living?
Yes.
So why doesn't she refinance it?
Your Honor, I don't know.
Why don't you refinance it?
I can't get it just in my name, Your Honor.
Well, maybe you can get it in his name. He owns his own home.
Well, we haven't tried that, but the last time he tried to get a loan, they said he had too much credit out.
Then why don't you sell the motorcycle?
I just haven't found anybody that'll buy it. It's not worth what we owe on it.
Now, She says she wanted to sell it. Her problem was she couldn't get what was owed on it. So you would have no problem signing it over to her, right?
As long as it's out of my name, I have no problem. And I've told her that
Fine,
before.
absolutely perfect. Have her sign this over to her,
That's
please.
a memorandum title, ma'am.
So?
But that is not the actual title.
So I understand that. The
that's what I'm
actual
asking.
title has a lien on it. She can deal with it. As a matter of fact, we'll prepare that order that you'll sign.
That's fine.
Good. Now we know that this is now your motorcycle. We will prepare that order. Now you're suing her for $3,000 because in addition to the return of the value of the motorcycle, you want damages for ruining your credit, right?
Yes.
And hopefully the $3,000 that you're suing for that will help compensate you for the loss that you're going to suffer on the motorcycle. Do you understand?
Yes.
Very good. Judging for the plaintiff, in the addition to the order that this will now be in your name, subject to the lien, judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I am so happy. She's out of my life.
I'm just glad the motorcycle's gone and I don't have to deal with her anymore.
Cannot comprehend anybody doing that to a friend.
Denise and Deborah Carter are suing their former landlord, Charles Ashley, for sabotaging their business, vet bills, and an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2036, Carter versus Ashley.
Thank you. Welcome. Your sisters, is that correct?
Yes.
You decided, according to your complaint, to go into a business, some sort of a doggy daycare. In what month and year did you decide to go into that business?
This year, 2 months ago, May.
Do you have any dogs of your own?
Yes.
How many?
I have a poodle and 2 pits.
And you?
I have 4 pit bulls.
Did they all live in your home?
They did, yes.
They did?
Yes.
The two of you decided to go into this alleged business and needed some space, according to you, and went to the defendant who was renting a house. Is that right, Mr. Ashley?
No, it's not a house.
What is it?
It's a building.
What kind of building?
It's a commercial building.
Okay. On this commercial building lot, there's a backyard or a back
yes.
empty space, and it's an open space with a fence.
Yes.
So it's not a home.
No.
What arrangements did you make with the Carter sisters to rent them that space?
I made arrangement with Deborah Carter.
May I see that? Deborah Carter.
Correct.
That's you.
Yes.
When for the first time did you meet Deborah?
I think it was around the 4th of June.
And she wanted to bring some dogs onto your property.
Correct.
How many dogs did she want to bring on your property?
She didn't tell me. She told me she had a kennel. And when I got there and she had the dogs there in 2 cages, it was 7 dogs, 7 pit bulls.
In cages?
And yes, and they're there today.
They're still there?
Yes.
May I see them, please?
I don't have them, and I didn't know what to get together.
Okay, I'd like to see what pictures you have, sir.
Yeah. This is the 30-day notice that I've given her, and those are the pictures where she damaged.
Miss Carter, sometime after June of this year, did you place dogs in this fenced-in open space in cages?
Yes.
Loud. You hear the way I'm talking?
Yes.
And how many dogs did you place in the cages?
At that time, it was 7.
7 adult dogs?
No, there's 3 adults and 4 puppies or 5.
How old were the puppies?
They were 6 months, 5 or 6 months.
Who did the dogs belong to?
Me.
So all those dogs...
Well...
Judge, let's get it right the first time. This is not going to get easier. This is going to get harder, Miss Carter. So the 7 dogs that you... Stop playing with your papers. The 7 dogs that you placed in the cages were your dogs.
Mine's my sister's and another friend.
How many were yours? You had 4 pit bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Were your 4 pit bulls there?
Yes.
Yes, that's a yes. So you're 4. Your sister has 2 pit bulls. Were her... Look at me. Your sister has 2 pit bulls. Were her 2 pit bulls there?
Yes.
So that's 6. And somebody else had 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the person who had 1?
They're not here. It's a friend. We were watching their dog. They have a dog.
Okay, so you put your 4 pit bulls, your sister's 2 pit bulls, and a friend's pit bull in 2 cages?
No.
How many cages?
There are 4 cages, but...
Okay. I'd like to see pictures of the
Here you
4
go.
cages. There you go.
And that's just to separate them.
Your Honor, when she
By
first,
sex.
Shh. Just a second. Prior to meeting the defendant, where did you keep your 4 pit bulls?
In the yard at my home.
Was it in the backyard that you kept the 4 pit bulls?
Yeah, they had space in the backyard, but they stayed in the house. And then when it's time to do their thing, they go outside. They stayed in the house in the living room.
So they were house dogs?
Yes.
And what about your 2 pit bulls?
I stayed in the front house. They stayed in the house with me.
On what date did you bring your pit bulls to the yard? June 4th?
June 6th.
6/6. And you paid him for a month. Is that right?
Yes.
How much did you pay him for the month?
$500.
And the 3 puppies that were 6 months old, what did you intend to do with those?
We had people that wanted them. We were supposed to move.
Just a second. Were they yours or hers? Who did the 3 puppies belong to?
Me.
They belong to you. So don't speak for her.
Okay.
Good.
I've been speaking for all my life.
I don't care what you've been doing all your life. Right now, I'm getting answers to someone who may or may not be swift enough or savvy enough not to tell me the truth. Did you ever have more than 7 dogs in the yard?
No.
Okay. So this is what I'm sort of confused about. Of the 7 dogs that you kept in his yard, 6 of them were pit bulls that belonged to you. And what you're suing him for is, you say, because of him, you lost your kennel business where you want, well, that's what it says here. You lost your kennel business.
Daycare.
What?
It's a
dog
daycare.
daycare.
It's a daycare.
There's no dog daycare. They were your dogs.
No, we were supposed to be inside. We were only supposed to be outside for a week. The business is a business, like you said. It has a storefront. It has a middle section. The storefront is where we take the small dogs. When you come in, we'll greet you, assess it, bring in the small dogs. If you have bigger dogs, he has a middle section. We were supposed to split the building in half.
And he never
He never cleaned the inside of the building. We had to go in there, power wash it ourselves. We bought our own paint. We were only supposed to be outside for 2 weeks until his people cleaned the inside for us.
Okay. Is that what you were supposed to do?
no, Your Honor, they are lying.
Okay.
The building was a motorcycle shop. They ain't brought no paint. They ain't cleaned nothing in it. It's still not clean.
Okay.
And
Were they
didn't have no money.
Just a second. How much in total did they give you for rent?
$500.
Is that correct?
Yes.
For the first
Just
month.
a second. Did you give them any more than $500?
No.
Did you have any other dogs other than your 6 dogs and somebody else's 1 pit bull ever on the premises?
No.
No, don't speak. I'm speaking to her. So whatever business you were, your investment in this business was $500.
No. I worked for him May 25th to June 1st. I cleaned out 25 refrigerators.
I don't care. That's not in here.
That was a pay. Yes, it is.
She ain't work for me.
Just a second.
I sent it to you guys.
Just a second. Miss Carter, there is absolutely nothing here that says that you worked for him and he owes you for that.
Well,
let me tell you what your complaint states. Your complaint says money owed for sabotaging a business, vet bills because one of your dogs was injured, and
I'm not saying
actual and punitive damages for assault. That's what you're claiming.
I'm just saying that I cleaned those appliances. He said that that was a payment for rent. So that was for the second month of rent. It was $500.
Just a second.
He was supposed to pay me every day, but I just told him to put it towards the rent.
Okay.
And that's what we agreed to. So
okay,
the first month and the second month was paid for.
Listen to me. My question is simple.
Yes.
Sorry. There's only one attitude here, madam. Stand up. Are your dogs still there?
Some of them.
Get them off his property.
Why is that?
It's not
It's
his
over.
property.
Very easy. You want to keep dogs in a cage like this? I can't control that. I am certainly not putting a judicial imprimatur on keeping dogs, and I don't care what breed they are, in cages in a backyard. So what I'm telling you this is you have 24 hours to get your dogs off that property. Get them off. He's going to get an order from a marshal And if your dogs aren't off that property, they're going to the pound.
So
do you
why is
understand?
Why is that?
I want you to
Why?
understand. I want you to understand my order, because now we're in August. You started this whole process in June. I'm finishing it before it gets too mucky. Get your dogs off the property. We understand each other?
Why is that?
Why? What did we do? We paid. We
like
did.
the
everything
No,
we
no.
were
You
supposed
paid
to
him
do.
for 1 month in June.
But we
You paid him. You paid him in 1 month in June. We are now in August. This is a marriage that's not going to go well. Get your dogs off his property, and then you don't have to deal with them anymore. Do you understand?
It's not his
No,
property.
I don't understand. You don't understand that
if it's not his property, then what are you suing him for?
Because he's the one who stabbed me.
Oh, just
And
a
he's the
second.
one who-
Just a second. So if we're eliminating money owed for sabotaging a business, and if you're suing him for assault, then I'll hear your assault. Then I don't have to hear any of the things about the dogs. So all I'm going to hear about is the assault. Tell me what happened. You were assaulted. That's what you want to tell me.
Yes, July 5th, we had came. My witness, if she could speak, she had
No, she wasn't assaulted, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She was assaulted first, actually. She's the first one he swung on.
Okay. Step up. July 5th. Your name is what?
Priscilla Walker.
You don't own any of these dogs, do you?
No, ma'am.
What were you doing on the property on the 5th of July?
I sometimes go and help them with the dogs, clean up and feed the dogs.
And those dogs that were there, they were there for at least a month from June 4th to July 5th.
Correct.
They're 6 pit bulls.
Correct.
Right? That used to be, according to them, in the backyard or in their homes, right?
Correct.
Okay, now, Priscilla, I want you to look at me, and they're your friends, right? So you went over to help them.
Yes.
I want you to tell me what it is that caused them to take these house dogs that were in their homes and in their backyard if they had to relieve themselves, don't speak, and move them into cages in a backyard in a commercial building. I want you to tell me that.
Your Honor, that wasn't the intent. They moved the dogs for a bigger space because they're entrepreneurs and they wanted to start a business.
Just a second, it's not their business. Business is starting a business with somebody else's dogs, not your dogs. They wanted to start a doggy, uncross your arms. They wanted to start, according to them, a doggy daycare. Mm-hmm. That I understand. But you don't start a doggy daycare by taking your dogs that are house dogs and putting them in cages in somebody else's backyard.
Why not?
Or somebody else's space.
Your Honor, that's not necessarily true. We're millennials. When you're boosting a business, you want to use yourself and what you have as advertisement. And that's what they did. So the other dog that they did have was a friend, and the friend was actually paying for that dog to stay there. So it did deem it a business at that time.
You still haven't answered my question as to why their 6 pit bulls were in cages when they were formerly house dogs for a month.
Your Honor, the gentleman over here to my left did not allow them permit. They didn't have access to what they paid for.
Just a second. Are you telling me that for a month they didn't have access for the dog? You just told me that you would go there and help them clean up.
To the inside of the building that was promised
I'm not
to them?
talking about the inside of the building.
Okay.
And the
pay clear.
We got the whole yard.
Pay careful.
Junkyard on his side.
The building.
They're not hearing all of you, and you're not answering my question. The 3 of you went there for what purpose on July 5th?
To feed and clean up after the dogs.
How'd you spend the weekend with them?
I was
not speaking to you.
Denise and Deborah Carter claim their former landlord, Charles Ashley, broke an agreement to store their dogs. They also claim he assaulted them. Charles claims he was the one who was assaulted.
Okay, if I was starting a doggy daycare business and I had house dogs, my little Shih Tzus, running around the house where they have been for years, I would not take them and put them in cages in a back vacant lot in order to demonstrate that I had a business.
My dogs
just a
slept in the house. They slept in the house. They didn't roam in like your little Shih Tzus. They didn't do that.
Just a second, you told me that they stayed in your house.
I said they slept in the house, in a cage, in an area.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't understand how you could take your pets
But they stayed outside.
Because we were offering other things. We wanted to have one.
All right, let's get to the assault. I'm not interested in this. Now.
Your Honor, I have the lease here. I'm paying the owner $4,000 a month.
He lied to the loaner and said he wasn't going to do any subleasing. He subleased
The only thing I'm interested in is the only thing I'm interested in is the assault. So, Priscilla, don't speak. The three of you went there for what purpose on July 5th?
To feed and clean up after the dogs.
Okay. And you had done that before?
Yes.
And when you got there on July 5th, was that over a holiday weekend?
Yes, it was.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday, so July 4th was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Had you spent the weekend with them?
I was there.
I'm not speaking to you. Had you spent the weekend with them?
No. Yeah.
Okay, you say yes, she says no. I'm not asking you a question. Do you understand? So you spent July 4th.
Go ahead.
You spent July 4th with them. Is either yes or no?
No.
When did you meet them on July 5th?
Around the morning.
Around what time?
11 a.m.
You're asking me with a question.
11 a.m.
I don't know if it was 11. I'm asking you.
11 a.m.
Did you have a discussion with them?
Regarding?
Regarding the dogs, what you were going to do that day.
Of course, we always have discussions about what we're going to do during the day.
When you spoke to Deborah, did you ask her when she had last seen the dogs?
No.
No, you did not. Deborah, prior to July 5th, when had you last seen the dogs?
July 4th.
What time?
It was about 5 o'clock. I was in there, cleaned them up. He came, locked me in for 4 hours.
Okay, so on July 4th, you were in there feeding the dogs.
Yeah.
And July 5th, you went back in the morning again to feed the dogs. Mm-hmm. Is not an answer.
Yeah.
Now, tell me what happened when you got there on July 5th.
On July 5th, when we went inside to feed the dogs, I went to go turn on the water hose, and I noticed that the water would not come out. That's when they were in the kennels feeding the dogs, and I told Carter that, hey, the water's not on. So the door to the building was open. I believe they both stepped in. When they stepped in, there was like verbal altercation.
So when they stepped in, you heard that there was someone else in the building?
Yeah.
Okay, and that would have been you, sir?
Yes.
On the 5th?
Yes, me and another friend of mine.
Okay, and what were you doing in the building on July 5th?
It was about 6 o'clock that evening. My friend came by the house. He's a general contractor, and I'm renovating the building to set it up for business. So I said, come on, let me take you up here, show you the building. I need your help. We get up there. I open the gate, go in, leave the gate unlocked, and we walk through the building. When I come around, they're in the building.
All three of them or just one?
All three of them.
Had you turned the water off to the hose outside?
No.
Do you
I used
know?
to water the dogs when they didn't come because they'd be barking so, and the neighbors next door, I just moved in, Your Honor. I don't want to make no enemies. That's why I told them I'm not taking no more rent from you. Get the dogs out.
Okay.
I tell them you trespass.
Just a second. So now you went inside, or the Carter sisters went inside.
Yeah, I said
You heard some noise. Did you go into the building?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened when you went into the building?
When I went into the building, he immediately got very frustrated and said, what are you guys doing here? Why are you here? You need to get off my property, get off my property. They're like, we paid you. We have an agreement. And next thing you know, he pushed Deborah Carter. He pushed her. And then that's when Denise Carter got in the middle and said, no, you're not, don't put your hands on my sister. The situation ensued. The gentleman that was inside stopped everything and walked him out of the building. And as he's walking him out of the building, and we're walking out behind him so that we can try to figure out what's going on with the water, he slams her foot in the door and tries to lock her in and pushes her. And that's when they started pushing on the door because at this point he's trying to lock them in.
Lock them in the building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
When they actually, the gentleman stopped him and the door opened, I seen what type of altercation it was. I didn't want anything to do with it. I'm like,
so at that point, nobody was injured?
No.
Okay, so now you're outside.
Now we're outside.
Okay, and you're outside in the back area where the dogs are.
Correct.
Tell me what happened next.
So as we're walking, I'm walking fast because I noticed that he's walking fast. And I'm like, you're not about to lock me in here. You already just tried to lock them in there.
You mean lock you in the
yard?
yard? So you got out of the yard?
Yes, he tried to close the yard gate on us, which is a really big, tall, black gate. And as soon as he tried to close it, it was just an altercation, a verbal altercation started. He didn't like what was said. I was on the left-hand side.
Tell me what the altercation was.
Everything was said about the business, you know, that they were going to speak to the owner, that, you know, he still owed them money if he wanted them to move out for the rest of the month, that he could just give them the money or whatever and they'll leave. It wasn't a problem.
By the way, I am looking at your lease, and you did lease the premises from June of 2022 to May 31st, 2025 at a monthly rent of $4,000. Are you still paying rent to the owner of the building?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to remove your dogs there.
He's not paying rent. He has an eviction notice too. He owes $4,000. I have a picture of it.
He's lying.
He hasn't paid rent.
When was
he hasn't paid rent this month or last month? He got the eviction last month on the 11th.
Okay. Right now, he has not been evicted from the property. Is that correct, or have you?
Right.
I just paid him yesterday.
Why did you say you...
Just a second. Oh, I'm asking a simple question. I have before me, ladies, pay attention. I have before me a lease that gives him 3/4 of the building and the backyard. Until he's evicted, until this lease is deemed void, you have to remove your dogs within 24 hours of today.
Why?
I am evicting you with a marshal tomorrow. Yeah. Get your dogs out of there.
Denise and Deborah Carter have accused their former landlord, Charles Ashley, of breaking their agreement and assaulting them. Charles claims Denise and Deborah attacked him first.
Okay, we're going to get back to this assault because I have other things to do today. You're outside. The gate that he's tried to cross has opened up again.
Mm-hmm.
And?
He got really angry. He was saying a lot of curse words, you know, you need to remove all your... You know what, if you don't remove it, I'm going to remove it for you type stuff. And after that, he swung with his right hand and it connected with my face. After that, he started punching on all of us, so we had to defend ourselves and fight back.
And then an altercation got started and everybody was fighting with everybody. So it was the three of you and him?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Did you go to a doctor?
No, but I was...
Just a second. Did you take photographs of your face?
No.
What about you? Deborah, were you hit by the defendant?
Yes, I was.
Where were you hit by the
face and my foot? No pictures, and I didn't go to the doctor. I self-healed.
Good. And what about you, Miss Carter? Where were you hit?
Doctor. I had to go to the ER because I had to get stitches. I had 9 stitches.
Okay. Well, tell me about the stitches. That's what I want to know. How did the cut that required the stitches take place?
When he was attacking us, he was swinging on me, and he had a blade in his hand, and I thought he was punching me, but really when I was blocking myself, he was taking...
That was the second occurrence, because after the first one, we tried to leave the situation. He was upset and put out a knife.
We thought we were leaving, yeah.
With
he just came back with the knife, and
now I'd like to see the records.
Here's the knife records, and then here's the police records on when he was arrested, and that's just like my stitches and what doctor I went to and like my medication.
Okay. Now I'm going to take a look. Okay, Mr. Ashley, the only thing that I actually want to know about from you is there's no question in my mind that the plaintiff did not cut herself. No question. I want to know how she got cut.
I don't know, Your Honor. I didn't even have a wallet on me. I'm 75 years old. I wouldn't even argue with her. I went to the back door, the gate, and they had a trash can where they had propped it open. So I went to move the trash can, and that's when this one hit me and knocked me down. And when I was coming up, Deborah hit me in the head with a 2x4. And blood just went everywhere.
Did you go to the doctor?
Yes.
I'd like to see your report.
It's in the record.
Your Honor, I have a video of what happened. I could just solve this right now.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Do you have it through the assault? I'm just interested in the assault.
It's just the assault.
Just the assault?
Yeah, it's just press play right here. Okay, if you press play, you'll see him slamming us out.
I don't see any assault.
Well, yeah, but I tell you, my phone fell out the hand.
Well, then don't show me what I can't see. All I know is he has medical records that he received 5 staples in the top of his head on that date. And that's not something he did to himself.
No.
Get up, stand up.
He
Where do you think you are? You think he did that to himself?
Yes, do you see the tire behind him? He just fell over it.
That's exactly
and all
what
that
happened.
wood behind him, he fell on that stuff.
Listen to me. Blunt head trauma, which is what the emergency, which is what the emergency.
You attacked us.
You
You're
have.
attacking us in pleasant.
Listen to me. Listen to me carefully. You have. Now sit. You have 24 hours to get your dogs out of that yard. You want to show me pictures of a trash-strewn yard? That's not where I would keep my precious house dogs for an hour. So get your dogs out of there 24 hours from today.
How do I counter that?
This is not a dance party. I'm ruling now. 24 hours, remove your dogs. You have nothing left to do with him. He wants you gone. I want you gone. I want those dogs out of the cages on that property, and I want them gone within 24 hours. Now, there's no question, Mr. Ashley, that both of you were injured in that altercation. No question. All I'm asking is, subsequent to your arrest, did you have a hearing?
No, Your Honor, I have it right here. They rejected the case.
May I see it?
They wouldn't even hear it.
They rejected it. Did you have a hearing?
They didn't tell me about anything.
They didn't tell you about anything. Well, that's because they rejected the case. Okay, I'm telling you, because I'm issuing an order, I'm giving it to you. You're the lawful tenant of the building. You can take it to a marshal, take it to the sheriff. Those dogs have to be out of there within 24 hours. We're done here.
This court is adjourned.
You know, it is what it is.
I thought it was a good decision. It was the truth.
He has no consequences. It just is the reason why you don't believe in the judicial system.
I'm not going to be renting out to them no more, and I'm not going to rent to nobody.
I think that it's so cruel to keep 7 dogs in small crates day, night.
Especially in a commercial building, open lot.
People shouldn't have dogs that do that. There should be a license required to own a dog. Not necessarily to be a dog, but to own another living creature. I don't know what kind of mind would think that it's fair to keep a living creature in a filthy,
dusty,
infested yard in crates for now 3 months. I don't know what kind of creature would do that.
Want Judge.
Hello mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì các bạn hãy cùng với mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một em cáo nha. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô màu bộ lông cho em cáo nhé. Ôi trời ơi, mình phải chớ bỏ. Mình không thể mình chặt được. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu là những đám mây trên tầng ở phía trên này nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho những cái bông hoa phía dưới đây nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô cho cái ngọn núi này nha. Giờ thì sẽ tô màu cho những cái cây này. This way. Bức tranh về chú cáo đã được mình hoàn thiện xong. Đây chính là thành quả của mình nha. Mình cảm ơn các bạn đã đón xem video này của mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hôm nay thì mình cùng với các bạn sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái rất là xinh xắn này nhé. Trước tiên thì mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc mũ này. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô đến chiếc kính. mình sẽ ra màu cho đôi môi nha. Mái tóc thì mình sẽ tô màu vàng. Ra. Hả? Không nấu thì là con lại cất lên rồi. Đây, mẹ bỏ con cái. Cuối cùng là mình sẽ tô màu cho bộ đồ nha. Bức tranh của ngày hôm nay mình đã hoàn thiện rồi nha. Đây chính là thành quả mà mình đã tô được. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình đón xem video này nhé. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người. Hello mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình nha. Hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh này nhé. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc nơ này. Mái tóc thì mình sẽ tô màu nâu nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu chiếc áo này nhé. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô đến chiếc quần. Như vậy là mình đã hoàn thiện xong cho bức tranh và đây chính là thành quả của mình. Cảm ơn mọi người đã cùng mình đón xem video này. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn. Xin chào các bạn nha, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về ngôi nhà tuyết cùng với cái thông Noel ở xung quanh nha. Trước tiên là chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho ngôi nhà nhé. Chiếc mái vì được phủ đầy tuyết nên là mình sẽ không tô màu cho chiếc mái nữa nha. Và mình sẽ tô cho thanh kẹo thôi. Giờ mình sẽ sử dụng màu nâu nhạt để tô cho ô cửa sổ. Để mơ. Vào trong ngôi nhà thì mình sẽ chọn màu cam để tô nha. Nhưng không thể nào em ước đến cái yêu thương đã đâu cần rồi. Tôi đến một ngày mình sẽ tô màu cho mặt trăng. Giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh để tô màu cho những cây thông ở xung quanh nha. Quen người quá đã lâu rồi. Bước đi. Mới đến về. Không người khác. Xong đón em về. Người bên mong ghét anh chẳng trân trọng. Hình ảnh với ngôi nhà đầy tuyết đã được mình hoàn thiện xong rồi. Mọi người hãy cùng mình chiêm ngưỡng thành quả nha. Ta-da! Hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu cùng với mình nha. Video của mình đến đây là hết kết thúc rồi. Tạm biệt và xin chào các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Mình xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái đang ngồi ngoài biển ha. Đầu tiên thì chúng mình sẽ tô màu mái tóc ha. Như tiramisu á. Thật đó. Mình sẽ tô màu cho kính và đôi môi. Bên mình sẽ tô chiếc váy này nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu vào chiếc ghế nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho những cái đám mây ở phía trên này. Các bạn ơi, mình đã tô màu xong cho bức tranh về cô gái đang ngồi bên bờ biển. Và đây chính là thành quả của mình nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã cùng mình đón xem video này. Video của mình đến đây là kết thúc. Hãy like, share và đăng ký kênh để ủng hộ cho mình nhé. Chào các bạn nha, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về một chú sư tử đứng trên một cái vách đá. Bây giờ thì mình cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh nhé. Mình sẽ tô màu cho cái phần bờ sư tử. Mình sẽ tô màu ra cho sư tử. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho hai đám mây này nha, cả phần mây ở dưới nữa. Rồi mình sẽ tô phần núi này nha. Nữa. Và mình đã hoàn thiện xong trong bức tranh rồi nha các bạn. Hôm nay thì mình đã cùng với mọi người tô màu cho các bức tranh. Và đây chính là bức tranh của ngày hôm nay nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người. Hello các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về một bông hoa rất là lớn nha. Bây giờ chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu bức tranh. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô phần nhụy hoa trước. Bông hoa này mình sẽ tô màu vàng ha. Rồi mình sẽ tô đến phần lá nha các bạn. sẽ tô phần còn nha. Bức tranh về bông hoa hướng dương bông hoa đã được mình tô màu xong, và đây chính là thành quả của mình nha. Video của mình đến đây là kết thúc rồi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình nhé. Hôm nay thì các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái có một chiếc váy rất là xinh xắn nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ cùng với các bạn tô màu cho bức tranh này nhé. Đầu tiên là mái tóc thì mình sẽ chọn tô màu đen nha. Quê. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu đỏ để tô màu với chiếc nơ này nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ dùng màu cam để tô cho hai cái bên này nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc váy này màu xanh dương nha. mình đã hoàn thiện xong rồi nha. Các bạn ơi, mình đã hoàn thiện xong cho bức tranh rồi. Đây chính là thành quả mà mình đã tô được nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn nhé. Hello mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình nhé. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ có bức tranh tô màu về một em cừu đang đứng trên một cái đồi hoa. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu ngay bây giờ trong bức tranh của ngày hôm nay nhé. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô màu chiếc nơ ở trên đầu em cừu nha. Đức ơi, Đức ơi, Đức. Tiếp theo mình sẽ tô vào khuôn mặt của em cừu. Ôi rồi. Ba mình sẽ tô đến màu của đám mây nha. Ngày xưa giờ là tô màu cho mặt trời. Giờ mình sẽ tô là những bông hoa tulip nha. Giờ thì mình sẽ tô nốt đồi cỏ nha. Video của mình đến đây cũng đã kết thúc. Và đây là bức tranh mà chú Kiều mình đã tô màu xong nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi. Video của mình đến đây là kết thúc rồi. Tạm biệt mọi người. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với series tô màu tranh trên kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì của mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một chú khỉ nhá. Và mình sẽ tô màu bạn khỉ không nha. Sẽ có bộ lông nha. Ô, đã gọi rồi á?
Anh đã gọi đâu, anh đang ngủ.
Con ơi.
Chịu chứ, tại vì họ đã dậy.
Sao mẹ bảo gì?
Biết là để cho nó ngủ.
Sao mẹ bảo gì mẹ? Mẹ bảo là mai nó về rồi nên gọi nó dậy chơi á?
Không. Anh dậy rồi à? Mà vẫn ngờ ngang.
Con ơi.
Chẳng
Con
dậy.
ơi. Ý cái kia kìa.
Chẳng dậy đi, mẹ nó sắp đón rồi, đấy, cứ thế chẳng ngủ.
Con dậy con chơi để mai con về quê nha. Con dậy con chơi để mai con về quê. Ôi ngủ dậy cái mũi còn đỏ đỏ coi trông đáng yêu ấy. Ê. Đáng yêu quá. Em muốn nằm mà. Để cho em nằm đi. Để cho em nằm. Em mỏi.
Kiểu nó nằm sau lớn, nó giật mình, nó dậy ấy.
Em ơi.
Trên này chờ là
Em ơi. Chết. Hello các bạn không? Hello các bạn không?
Ui. Thích lên gì?
Đây mình sẽ tô để quả chuối nha. Tô quả chuối không? Tô quả chuối không?
Mẹ ăn mất một cái bánh mì rồi.
Thật.
Ăn mất một cái này mình nghĩ là không dùng tới.
Thế sao không bảo?
Không, lúc em xuống em thấy mẹ đã ngồi ăn. Thế còn 2 cái.
Vai là 2 cái không bo. 2 cái không bo thì răng ấy. Con này thì ở đâu bán bánh mì nữa.
Ôi rồi.
Con ơi. Con lấy bút màu cho con lấy đi. Phải Đức đuổi cho con đi.
Này.
Đức lấy cho con cái bút màu nha. Nè. Đấy. Cho con cái bút màu nha, không ngậm mồm nha.
Nào.
Mồm đã hở rồi. Hở rồi con ạ.
Chả gì Quỳnh à?
Mồm đã hở
Chả
rồi.
gì Quỳnh à?
Em chả con chả gì nhá. Búp mà.
Thích chơi con nào? Thích chơi con này. Này. Tôi đây.
Trời ơi, được rồi. Này thì ăn được gì nữa, được rồi. Mày check xem còn trứng cút chưa?
Chưa.
Khổ thế nhở, nó định ăn rồi. Ăn một cái chẩn nói.
Không biết rồi nè, chỗ nào bật này.
Ăn cái kia.
Em vừa thấy còn bánh đóng cửa mấy hôm trước vừa mới mở.
Chị ra nhà anh Thái mua. Nhà anh Thái bán mì nóng ngon. Ai đây? Ai đây nhỉ?
Bạn nào đây? Bạn đỏ hả?
Và như vậy là mình đã hoàn thiện xong cho bức tranh nha các bạn. Và như vậy là bức tranh đã được hoàn thiện rồi. Đây là bức tranh về chú khỉ mà mình đã tô được nha. Mình cảm ơn mọi người đã cùng mình theo dõi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo của mình. Xin Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình cùng với các bạn sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh về cô bé đang hái những cái quả táo trên cây nha. Đầu tiên mình sẽ tô màu cho cô bé trước nhé. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu đến những quả này nhá. Mình thấy nó giống khá giống trái táo nên là mình sẽ tô đỏ nhá. Gì? Tí để em tô cành cây nha. Gì? Sao? Anh nghĩ là có ấy. Rất mẹ lúc nào xem lắm. Nhưng mà bây giờ mày vào năm học mà mày mới bảo tao. Mà tao xin mày, dậy đi. Ngủ vừa thôi.
Em tưởng là em ngủ đến tận 4 giờ cơ, hóa ra là có 3 giờ rồi. Tâm hồn mệt bả phải dậy.
Không, khoa của tao. Bây mình sẽ tô nốt màu cho những cái tán lá nha. Đấy là mẹ với cả mẹ luộc không kỹ, mẹ luộc các kiểu
Nó vẫn ngủ.
Thật á? Nó không dậy tắm rửa à?
Mẹ cho nó ngủ xong rồi có gì về mẹ cho mẹ bảo chị cho nó tắm.
Thế mày xuống mày xin họ chị tiền thì chị đi chợ cái. Bà xin được 100 để chị mua mấy quả cam để chị ăn nước.
Thì 100 mua xin 100 đi chợ với cả mua cam.
Xong mẹ sẽ hỏi là sao xin nhiều thế thì bảo là chị cứ xin tiền để chị mua cam về vắt nước. Để chị cứ mua cam. Mọi người ơi, bức tranh của mình cũng đã được hoàn thiện xong. Đây chính là thành quả của mình nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi. Video của mình đến đây là kết thúc rồi. Tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại nhé. Các bạn ơi, hôm nay thì các bạn hãy cùng với mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một chú kiến nha. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu nhé. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô bông những bông hoa ở phía dưới trước nhé. Bây giờ thì các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu cho em Kiến nha. Mình sẽ tô những cái vân ở trên người trước. Em Kiến đây thì mình sẽ tô màu nâu nhạt nha. Như vậy là mình cũng đã tô xong cho bạn Kiến. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô nốt cái ngọn cỏ ở phía sau ha. Các bạn ơi, như vậy là chúng ta cũng đã hoàn thiện xong trong bức tranh. Đây chỉ là bức tranh sau khi mà mình đã tô được nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn nhé. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình nhé. Hôm nay thì cùng mình tô màu cho một ngôi nhà được phủ là một lớp tuyết rất là dày nha. Bây giờ thì cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu cho bức tranh này ngay bây giờ nhé. Trước tiên thì mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc ống khói nha. Sang trang cho hai ta thành đôi. Mình sẽ tô màu cho những cái ngọn khói này. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô đến cho hai cửa sổ nha. Những viên gạch này thì mình cũng sẽ tô luôn nhé. Để mình sẽ tô cánh cửa ra vào. Ngôi nhà thì mình sẽ chọn tô màu xanh dương nha. Cuối cùng là mình sẽ tô màu cho cái cây ở bên cạnh. Bức tranh của mình đã được hoàn thiện rồi nha các bạn. Video của mình đến đây là kết thúc rồi nha. Tạm biệt mọi người. Và hôm nay mình đã tô màu xong trong bức tranh của ngôi nhà. Đây chính là bức tranh mà mình đã tô được nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo.